So Greentown Labs is North America's largest climate tech startup incubator. We provide lab, office space, and community to more than 200 startups who are developing technologies to decarbonize key greenhouse gas emitting sectors. Since our inception, we've incubated more than 500 companies. These companies have raised more than $4 billion for their climate solutions and generated more than $9.8 billion in regional economic impact, as well as created more than 24,000 jobs in climate tech and clean energy. We support startups in a variety of ways by providing them the lab, office space, shared tools and resources, and software and business resources that they need to grow their companies and scale their solutions, but also by connecting them to the stakeholders that will really help them. In 2022 alone, we made more than 300 curated connections between startups and investors, corporate partners, and other key stakeholders that will help these startups thrive.
My name is Kayla Goodale. I am our membership coordinator at Greentown Labs for our Somerville location. So Greentown was founded by 4 MIT startups. They left school. They did not have a lab space anymore. They did not have kind of like that academic cushion. And so they all went in on a warehouse together for lab space. They're like, wow, this is a lot easier to do when you're not alone, when there's some kind of community around you. And as it went from, 4 startups to 17 startups to it kept getting bigger. And they brought on Emily Reichert, who's our former CEO. And from there, moved over to Somerville, where we are today. So just across the alley from where we're currently sitting at 28 Dane was our first building. And they really entrusted her with kind of building this place from the ground up. There are so many different parts of climate tech. It's huge. We have to decarbonize everything. Where Greentown really, really thrives, and I think what makes this community so special is our climate focus. Our startups are working on so many different problems across sectors, and so we have people working in agriculture, and transportation, and electricity, and buildings and manufacturing, or who are working on resilience and, for example, air quality things, and just being able to bring all of those different industries into one space under this bigger umbrella of solving the climate crisis is really, really special. And a lot of people who are at Greentown, they want to be surrounded by other people that are working on climate. And you can have someone that is, working on decarbonizing cement, and they can have a conversation with someone that is working on new solar panel technology. And, they're able to really kind of talk through different problems and collaborate in a way that they wouldn't feel comfortable doing if they were all working on the exact same problem. A really special thing about Greentown is that a whole startup can work out of Greentown. If your company needs someone in a wet lab, someone in a prototyping environment, and someone who's going to really be on calls at their desk all day, that can all happen in one building here. So I work in new member recruitment, and so I'm working with founders that are interested in coming to Greentown and kind of forming their company here in those kind of early years. We're looking for companies that are mitigating GHG emissions or building resiliency in communities. One thing in particular is if a technology is specifically mitigating current harms caused by climate change. We know that climate change is here, it's happening. So if a company does come in with something that they're this is something that is currently impacting communities, that's also stuff that we want to be hearing about.
I'm Jackie Johnson. I'm the Senior Manager of Community, and I've been on the Greentown team for 5 years. Greentown Labs encourages innovation and creativity within our startups through the opportunities that we provide. That is by building community through events, by being co-located with each other, both in the office space, in the lab spaces, as well as in the machine shops, providing the access to all of the tools that we have here
and as well as the amazing network that we have.
So one of the biggest needs that our startups tell us that they have at their early stage is hiring the right people on their teams. So one of the biggest ways in which Greentown supports startups is by helping amplify their careers needs and their job positions, both on Greentown's website. Our careers page is our most visited page on our website, and on Greentown social media, as well as through events where we have career days where hundreds of early, mid, and late stage professionals come and they meet startups and they figure out how that they can join the Climatetech workforce, because it's growing and it's growing faster and faster by the day. The energy transition is a massive economic opportunity, and Greentown is 100% committed. All of the billions of dollars generated by this economic opportunity are going to the groups who have been historically marginalized. One way we're doing this is through the Excel program, which stands for Advancing Clean Energy and Climate Tech Leaders. The Excel program is an accelerator program for BIPOC-led startups to help them achieve milestones that are typically out of reach for underrepresented founders.
Greentown Labs supports our companies by providing them a space that they can comfortably work on the technical solutions in the lab, in the office spaces, collaborating with one another. And that can be through a variety of our programs as well. We have an incredible partnerships program that helps with companies meeting with corporate partners that are here to support them, to help secure future pilot projects, to help them with access to capital through our investor program. And if they're here working on their technical challenges, we provide them with a community and a variety of community events, such as roundtable discussions, where they can really get to connect with other people facing similar challenges that they can reflect on and bounce these ideas off of. Greentown has recently launched a venture development program as well. And so this program offers an opportunity for our companies and the founders specifically to access entrepreneurs and executives in residence, which give them that sounding board so that they can bounce those ideas off of each other, as well as an advisor program, which is a network of volunteer folks in the industry that are able to help them with one-off questions and provide them with support as they need it. Greentown Labs measures the success of our startups that it supports through all of the opportunities that we provide. So success for us looks like them achieving those funding milestones, as well as growing into their own future space within the Boston area and beyond.
Our partnerships program is, I think, something that really sets us apart. We have a really robust network of partners that are able to work with our startups, whether it's in a funding capacity or a potential customer capacity, or if startups need equipment and we can potentially get that at discounted rates. Like, there just are so many opportunities for like kind of collaboration and support from our partnerships network that I also think is really important.
Our partnerships program is really existing to help our startups get their technology to market. A majority of Greentown startups are B2B companies, meaning they have to sell to or through a corporate partner. So our partners engage with our startups through pitch days and corporate innovation days, as well as our whole team of partnerships managers who make introductions between the partners and the startups. A big buildings company is looking for ways to make their materials more sustainable. They can find that sort of innovation here at Greentown, and we're going to help them achieve those innovation goals and achieve their decarbonization goals through the innovation and technology available at Greentown. We have corporate partners from every single key greenhouse gas emitting sector, from transportation to agriculture to energy, buildings, manufacturing, and then those focused on resilience and adaptation. And they are all deeply engaged with our startups. A huge part of our partnerships program is also our Greentown Go Accelerator program, which is a startup corporate partnerships accelerator program focused on finding a corporate partner that really has specific innovation priorities. And then we do a global scout to find the cohort of startups in the entire world that is developing those solutions and that can help them reach those goals.
So my name is Mike Strauch. I'm a senior systems engineer with Transaera. So we are trying to revolutionize air conditioning.
I'm Annie. I'm the co-founder and CEO of H2Ok Innovations. We are an IoT operating system specifically focused on optimizing industrial liquids and fluid systems in manufacturing and infrastructure.
So I'm Malav Sukhardia. I'm the head of finance for Sol Clarity. So Sol Clarity does water-free, automated, non-contact solar cleaning.
Commonly, air conditioners can only get humidity out of the air by cooling the air below the dew point and water drips out. We can just remove the moisture out of the air directly and pass it back outside. Allows us to save basically all that energy. So 30, 40, 50%, depending on the specific climate we're cooling. Our technology scales up and down. Something as small as an air conditioner that could fit into a car, all the way up to, commercial rooftop HVAC. Aviation is 2% of global climate emissions. Air conditioning as a whole industry is 4%. So we're double the size of aviation. Think of all the startups, all the noise that happens around green aviation. Air conditioning is just this quietly sitting in the background, consuming twice the energy. We can make a huge, huge dent in that. And we have a saying in our company, make a dent in the 4%. We literally dent a sign at the end of a week if you get all your tasks done for the week. It's a 4% sign, it's wonderful. We see that people can have cooling, which they wouldn't have had before. We can de-burden the electrical grids that are growing so quickly, and as a result are having to grow in a really dirty and climate unfriendly way. And we also, crucially, which I haven't mentioned enough, we want to do it affordably. So our technology is based on the fundamental air conditioning technologies of today. We're not doing any radical Ferrari-style solution. We're building off of the core components that exist today that are already scaled at cost. So we want something that people can use, that people can afford to run, and that's going to be reliable so that people can trust that they're going to be cool on the hottest days of the year.
So we really believe in is, okay, how do we unlock previously untapped data? For our customers that really comprise our most foundational sectors of society, like Unilever, for example, to Coca-Cola, to chemicals, and even hyperscale data centers, to enable them to gain a competitive advantage in the way they operate, both being more efficient and also more sustainable. So we basically have an IoT system. It's comprised of three main components. So firstly, a network of highly versatile and scalable sensors that are mass deployed in industrial infrastructure. So think pipes, for example, equipment, you can deploy this in logistics and tanker trucks, and beyond. They unlock real-time liquid composition, quality, chemistry, and property data, integrate into our edge compute models that are running basically control algorithms, ML-based control algorithms, interfacing with local control systems for automation and optimization. And finally, to the cloud, where we have our overall process insights platform. So it's kind of like three main components, from sensors all the way to edge to cloud in this full stack system. I'd say our vision is what we call Industry 4.0. So what that really means, it's the next industrial revolution. And it's ultimately about how do we allow digital solutions to be deployed in traditional industrial environments in a very secure, viable, and reliable manner. And so using technology and digital solutions to really create more robust, resilient, sustainable, and both environmental and also, social and human sustainability, and beyond for, our most foundational sectors globally and especially in the United States.
So a lot of solar plants are located in dry and arid regions, and you have a lot of soiling of dust in those regions. And these are regions where there's low rainfall and the water tables are super low. And the current cleaning practices use a lot of water. Around 14 billion liters of water is used every year to keep the solar panels clean. So for some perspective, that's enough water for around 20 million people or the entire population of Mali, and that's annually. So our technology is patented, it's water-free, automated, non-contact cleaning. The industry calls it the solar's dirty secret, because right now the current practice, you have to clean the panels, and they dig wells in near those fields or truck in profuse quantities of water from cities to those remote locations. And it's sometimes it's not humane to if you see those small villages where people see water trucks coming by and they're used to clean the panels that they're not going to use it. So it's a conundrum, and it's a problem that we're trying to solve. What we like to say that our mission is to unlock the full potential of solar by making cleaning with water obsolete. That's our mission, and the vision is, so our technology can go on any optically clear substance that needs cleaning. So our vision is to have our technology in all optically clear substances that needs cleaning in a sustainable fashion. We get a lot of inbound leads from the Middle East, the Sub-Saharan belt, where like there are a lot of dust storms and they have to clean the buildings regularly. So we get a lot of demand from them, but solar is something that we are really focused on right now, and that's what we want to solve first before going into other applications.
Yeah, so our founder, Surin Grama, he was sort of trying to figure out what his next thing was going to be, where he wanted to make an impact. And during his time in India, he encountered how much of a challenge air conditioning is. There are people who would have air conditioners. He actually gifted an employee an air conditioner, and she told him she can't afford to run it because the energy cost is so high, because they're so inefficient, they use so much electricity. So he came back with this idea in his head that he wanted to make a difference and actually, try to change air conditioning because it hasn't fundamentally changed in over 80 years. So he partnered with Murcha Dinka, who runs a lab at MIT. They have this material that allows us to grab the water out of the air directly. It's a material called MOFs. They got together, came up with this idea for Transaera in 2019. And over the last 4 years, they've built a business, built prototypes, tested them here at Greentown, and we've been able to demonstrate the energy savings that, theoretically we thought we were able to show. We've actually been able to demonstrate.
I actually run this company with my co-founder, who's also my older brother, and CTO David. We come from a generational manufacturing industrials family and background, growing up on the shop floor, seeing firsthand, how these large industrial factories operate, but also a lot of the inefficiencies that exist in areas of opportunity for innovation and disruption. And especially as we got older, fast forward over a decade later, COVID hit, exposed a lot of the gaps in areas of opportunity within supply chain, with a lot of supply chain challenges that came really to the limelight. And we were actually part of this opportunity called Techstars Farm to Fork. It was a startup accelerator based out of the American Midwest, which is the heart of American agriculture. And through kind of the synergies and intersection of these two opportunities or these two events, that's really where we ideated H2Ok Innovations, and then hit the ground running after Techstars. So the rest has been history.
So this technology was originally developed at a lab at BU, Boston University. It was developed to keep solar panels clean on Mars rovers, because you can't go to Mars to clean solar panels, or at least yet. So the postdocs who were working at the lab, they tried to commercialize it for terrestrial solar panels now. So what they do is they have conductive electrodes in a dielectric substrate. So the electrodes charge the dust levitates, and then they falls out the panels. So it's cleaning based on only electric fields. Ryan Erickson and Annie Bernard are the co-founders of Soul Clarity. So Annie was doing her PhD at BU, Boston University, and Ryan was the postdoc at the lab. So Ryan did his PhD in material science at BU at Boston University, and they joined the lab which was working on this technology. So they have been working on it since over like 7 years now, and then 2020 COVID hit, and access to the labs are shut off for all the colleges, for all the universities. So then they wanted to work on the technology. They're trying to commercialize it. So then they thought of we got to work somewhere, and so they also around the same time they also got into Cleantech Open Northeast, and they got some credits for Greentown's rent, and that's when they moved into Greentown in 2021. And since then we had 100 square feet prototyping space where Ryan and Annie were working on building field trial units that we sent off to Arizona State University. And right now we're trying to scale the size of the technology to 1 by 2 meters, which is the size of an industrial solar panel.
Our biggest public partnership is with Carrier. So they're actually on the board over there as a sponsor of Greentown Labs. They've been a really key partner to us, and we're actually co-developing a commercial product with them. So they're one of the biggest, oldest HVAC companies in the world, and we're working with them, sharing our technology with them, which is new. They're sharing their know-how and expertise of how to actually, design and build a commercial HVAC unit. Certainly being a part of Greentown, anyone we talk to saying that we are here, that we're a part of Greentown, there's a visible reaction. And it gives us just a little bit stronger of a leg to stand on, knowing that we're taking this seriously, we're committed to the cause, and I imagine that helped the partnership get along, and certainly has made things easier, especially as we're scaling up our business.
I'm really, really privileged and excited to work with incredible industry-leading partners and customers, from Unilever, for example, so $60 billion, one of the largest consumer goods companies in the world. We were actually announced as their top startup supplier of the year. So we received startup of the year in our work in smart manufacturing and production optimization, from iconic brands all the way from Ben & Jerry's ice cream to Hellmann's mayonnaise and beyond. We have customers from Coca-Cola, for instance, to Ecolab in their supply chain chemical plants, to Cargill, one of the biggest ag companies in the world, Constellation Brands, one of the biggest winemaking and brewing companies in the world, to some of the largest and top cloud providers that are literally powering our world's internet in their hyperscale data centers.
We have been here since 2 years, and there's a lot of engineering support, a lot of, it's full of talent, right? Like there's a lot of talent within the community. So if we have like small challenges, like what connectors to use, what outdoor setting, how do we accelerate outdoor setting, outdoor testing, we get all those resources from the community members and like secondary connections of the community.